Luis Manuel Rivas Velásquez, believed dead at Florida's notorious Alligator Alcatraz, is alive, but his ordeal is far from over. Secretly moved to Fort Bliss and then another ICE center, he awaits deportation, cut off from family and lawyers. Survivors describe beatings, teargas, and starvation. Amid denials, chaos, and looming closure, the horrors inside Alligator Alcatraz continue. Luis Manuel Rivas Velásquez, a Venezuelan influencer known as Luis Frio online, was reported dead by his family after collapsing at the Florida Alligator Alcatraz immigration detention camp, an incident allegedly due to medical neglect. In reality, he survived, was secretly transferred to Fort Bliss in Texas, without his family or lawyers' knowledge, and then moved again, as revealed on August 29th by The Guardian. He is currently awaiting deportation, describing his ordeal as a living hell. Rivas Velásquez was first detained in July at the controversial Alligator Alcatraz, a recently opened Florida state camp managed on behalf of ICE and championed by Donald Trump. Conditions at this facility have been described by several attorneys and detainees as inhumane, with widespread reports of insufficient food, medical neglect, backed-up toilets, and limited access to basic hygiene. Earlier this month, he collapsed and became unresponsive inside the camp. Critically, it was another detainee, a nurse from Cuba who administered CPR, as guards reportedly appeared unprepared and slow to act. Rivas Velásquez was finally transported to a Miami hospital, where he was diagnosed with a respiratory infection before being returned to detention. His family and attorneys were kept in the dark about his status. For 48 hours, they didn't know whether he was alive or dead. Out of desperation and confusion, his girlfriend, Rosana Navas, posted a tearful message on social media.
He died at Alligator Alcatraz due to the negligence of the United States government. He asked for medical attention, but they didn't give it to him. He was covered in sores. He ate only once a day. We just need someone to help us transport his body. His family is in Venezuela, distraught.
After briefly returning to the Florida camp, Rivas Velásquez was secretly transported to Camp East Montana at Fort Bliss, Texas, and then moved again to an ICE processing center in El Paso. Neither his family nor his legal team was informed throughout these transfers, with attorney Eric Lee describing his treatment as an enforced disappearance and possible retribution for denouncing detention conditions. He has described himself and others being treated like animals in unbearable conditions. Lee also said their communications were limited to inaudible one-minute phone calls, often cut off abruptly.
He called in a panic, explaining that he had been denied access to necessary blood pressure and anxiety medication. He said he has not even been allowed to change his clothes in 5 days. Before we could ask additional questions, the call was abruptly terminated.
Tricia McLaughlin, spokesperson for the Department of Homeland Security, stated that Rivas Velásquez had only fainted and was taken to the hospital out of precaution, insisting that all detainees receive proper medical care. DHS also referenced a robbery arrest in Miami, though Lee clarified this stemmed from a domestic argument and phone incident with no other criminal history. Rivas Velásquez had legally entered the US in 2024, but the Trump administration's changes to asylum procedures left many in legal limbo. Guards at Florida's notorious Alligator Alcatraz immigration detention camp are accused of deploying teargas and engaging in a mass beating to suppress a mini uprising, according to at least 3 detainees who recounted the incident by phone to Miami's Spanish-language news channel, Noticias 23. As authorities scrambled to comply with a federal order to close the Everglades camp, constructed just weeks earlier under the endorsement of Donald Trump and Governor Ron DeSantis, details have emerged of harrowing violence and chaos inside the facility. After one detainee reportedly received news of a relative's death, prisoners began shouting for freedom, which prompted a squad of guards to rush in, beating detainees indiscriminately with batons and releasing tear gas into the enclosed spaces. Helicopters circled overhead, and a fire alarm blared continuously as chaos unfolded. One detainee told Noticias 23 during a recorded call, "They've beaten everyone here. A lot of people have bled. Brother, tear gas. We are immigrants. We are not criminals. We are not murderers." Another detainee added, "We are being mistreated. We are being beaten. It's the emergency alarm. Please help us." The Florida Division of Emergency Management, which operates the jail on behalf of Federal Immigration and Customs Enforcement, denied it had occurred. Stephanie Hartman, the department's Director of Communications, said,
These reports are manufactured. There is no uprising happening at Alligator Alcatraz. Detainees are given clean, safe living conditions, and guards are properly trained on all state and federal protocols.
However, such abuse allegations add to a growing history of reported brutality, hunger strikes, and inhumane living conditions at Alligator Alcatraz. Protesters stationed outside since its July 2nd opening have chronicled similar complaints, noting that authorities often transferred hunger-striking detainees to other facilities to break up protest action. US District Judge Kathleen Williams ordered the camp closed within 60 days, citing grave environmental law breaches and ignoring the impact on the Everglades ecosystem. A motion by state and Trump administration attorneys to block the closure was rejected, prompting a rapid acceleration of detainee removals. As the state approaches the camp's final days, DeSantis announced a new deportation depot in North Florida, and other Republican-led states unveiled similar plans with mocking facility names like the Speedway Slammer and Cornhusker Clink. Amid official denials, detainee voices describe a grim reality. "We are immigrants. We are not criminals. We are not murderers." Despite rumours that the immigration detention facility known as Alligator Alcatraz could soon be empty, an immigration attorney believes the legal battle over the facility is far from over. Fox 4 recently obtained a state email that suggested the number of people inside could soon be down to 0. But an attorney said there's still a long way to go. Katie Blankenship, an attorney for the Sanctuary of the South, said,
Far from done, so far from done.
Blankenship has represented several clients inside the detention centre. Despite rumours of closure, she said her lawsuit is still active.
Our case has to continue because ICE can simply refill this facility tomorrow.
Meanwhile, NBC reported citing court filings by the state that shutting down the facility for the time being would cost the state $15 million to $20 million immediately, and it would cost another $15 million to $20 million to reinstall structures if Florida is allowed to reopen it. A state official said in court papers that the Florida Division of Emergency Management will lose most of the value of the $218 million it has invested in making the airport suitable for a detention centre. An Associated Press analysis of publicly available state spending data showed that Florida has signed at least $405 million in vendor contracts to build and operate the facility, which officials had initially estimated would cost $450 million a year to run. A previous AP review found that as of late July, the state had already allocated at least $245 million to run the site, which opened July 1st.